Hey everyone, welcome to a 2022 shipment video. I made a video last year covering 60 tons, but wanted to do kind of an updated video since there's been some minor tweaks and adjustments that I've made over the last 12 months. Jumping right in, you'll see that I have my transports kind of positioned here already. This is a methodology I find helpful for my system. My main ice planet, Ice 2, is going to be my central hub for everything. So what I have here is all of my transports are kind of stationed the further south as kind of like a branch, and then I'll pick up everything and kind of migrate it north. So the best way to tell when it's time to do shipments typically is via your trade station. Trade stations get one shipment every hour. So when it hits that 12-hour mark, it's been 12 hours since your last shipment, as long as you obviously haven't delivered any shipments in between. And then planets will refill every 12 hours. Trade stations will fill every 18 hours, hence the 12 out of 18. So when trade stations are 12 out of 18, that typically means your planets are just about full, which you can see for the most part that they're all full. So we're ready to do our shipments. For levels, I have two transports that will be my computer. They'll be the ones that will apply the computer bonus to the hubs that I have. And then I also have Shipment drone, and then I also have boost and burst on two transports. And that is just because, as you can see here, the cooldown for both boost and burst is 23 hours. So I typically will use one in the morning, and then I'll use the other transport for the evening, and just kind of keep that cycle going. Every other transport is roughly the same. It's just cargo bay and beam. There's nothing really else that I need for shipments. This is typically for White Star, so I've gotten Trust and Drone. But all the other ones are simply just teleport, cargo, and beam. And the beam is to obviously pick up shipments that are left behind. So to start off, I will pick up what I can and start to migrate it north. There is a way to min-max. Eventually, when you get high enough, a couple shipments here and there isn't that huge of a deal if you accidentally deliver them. So for example here, I've got two going to this planet. So the methodology I use here is I will move everything kind of north as much as I can, using this as kind of a secondary temporary hub to then bring over to this one to sort everything. And you'll see that more in practice as we progress here. But the idea is basically pick up from every location and go forward. So for example here, I will pick up everything and then I will bring it over to this planet. Now typically I will just go ahead and send them off and just deliver that one shipment because it's not that much of a headache to me. However, if I really want to kind of min-max my shipments, I could go and simply keep that one shipment here on this planet and use beam to pick it up. So I could just drop it off here. Now there's nothing that would be delivered, and I move here. So if you look at the planet names, they all have numbers, and that means something. Some planets just have one number in the front. Some have a number in the front and at the end. What that means is if it has a number at the end, that is a hub. And it's a hub for the shipments that go to this location. So for example, this ends in a 6, which means this is my hub for all my shipments that will be delivered to locations that begin with the 6. So as you can see here, this planet starts with a 6, This trade station is a 6, and this planet starts with the 6, which means after all of my sorting and after I've moved everything to their local hub, this will only have shipments that go to locations that begin with the 6. And the reason why this is done is because there is roughly 500 shipments per 12 hours with the full system. And you obviously cannot have one hub to deal with all 500 shipments at once. The ICE 2 can only hold 100 at once. Max shipments times 2 is its max capacity. So you need multiple hubs in order to kind of have all of your shipments on a planet so the drone can pick it up. So another example here would be this planet. It starts with a 1 and ends in a 5, which means this planet, which holds a 1 at the end, this will hold all of the shipments that go to 1, i.e. this planet, and this planet will hold all of the values, or all the shipments for locations that begin with a 5, which, as we saw earlier, was this planet starts with a 5, starts with a 5, and starts with a 5. This will make a lot more sense once everything is spread out and sorted already. So we'll just kind of progress from here. So like I said, typically if this was me just running through a quick shipment cycle, I would just go ahead and move this guy and not care about the 2 shipments that I'm delivering. But for the interest of this video, I'll go ahead and just show what I used to do to min-max as much as I could. So I would go ahead and drop off shipments that would go to that location. So now I can send them off there and he won't deliver anything, and there's these 2 left behind. And then beam is where this would come into play later. So same thing here. I'll pick up. There's 4 that go there. This is 3 Shire, so I will need to make sure that I don't deliver those 4. Move them over and just kind of repeat this process. So the way I'm moving is, remember, I'm kind of starting from the bottom and moving north all towards the ice. So these 2 planets are close to each other. So I'm kind of taking the shipments from here, moving a little north. I'll pick up everything from here, drop it off so everything's resorted. I'll pick up everything here. And now I want to make sure I don't deliver anything to my main ice. So I will go ahead and leave these 3 here. Now with the 2 computer transports, I leave them at the end of the warp lane just temporarily, because I want every other transport to be on the ice planet first. And I'll explain why in just a minute. So I'll repeat the process here. Again, I don't want to deliver anything for the ice planet, so I will go ahead and deliver or drop off these 4. I also missed a step. I typically also do not want to bring over any shipments that will end up in this location either. So remember, this ends in a 7, which means this will hold all shipments that go to locations that begin with a 7. So I can actually leave them here as well. And that way, when I bring them up here to go and sort, that's just that many less. So for example, this location ends in a 6, so I will leave all shipments here that begin with the 6. So I left originally. I left 3 shipments here that went to the ice. Now I've actually added 9 more that I won't bring over, since they'll end up here anyways. That's just 9 more shipments that I have to deal with while they're all condensed on this ice planet. So repeating the process, these 3 locations I typically will move directly to this planet as a temporary sort, because obviously there's more shipments here I need to pick up. And then all the other ones, the transport that was here will combine these 2 and bring them up north. Transport that was here combines these 2, brings them up north. This transport will move and go up here. Leave those 3 there. And then now I have to beam my trade stations, obviously, since my transports were all covering planets. So I will need to beam them up from a location that would not deliver that shipment. So I'll kind of cycle through these real quick. I can just kind of get a ballpark. So all 3 of the trade stations have shipments that go to this location, so I can't pick up from there. And then I noticed that these 2 don't have anything that go to here, so I can go ahead and pick up with beam. Done. And then this one, the transport here doesn't have any deliveries. So I typically try to pick up between these 3 locations. And the reason for that is because, again, transport down here was picking up these 2 planets, so he's pretty full. He's got already a ton of shipments. And then the transport down here picked up for these 2 locations. And then this transport is going to pick up for these 2 locations. So these 2 transports are kind of like the least used. And since I'm already doing like a quick mini sort here, I can usually pick up there as well. So repainting process here. Now what I could do is I could start picking up, I need to beam this one over. So what I could do now is start beaming up the ones that I left behind. So this one obviously will need to drop there. I'll go ahead and pick up this location and get this going as well. Again, I'm leaving the 5s here because it ends in a 5. So I'm leaving all 5s. And picking up that last 7 that I couldn't pick up. And then I'm also dropping off anything that goes to that ice planet up here. And now we can move them up there. I will pick up those there. I'll pick up those there. And I'm just basically systematically going through each transport and picking up what I can from all the locations that I left earlier. And now we have just this last one to do, which I can pick up with this one. So this is why it's helpful to have beam on every transport. Like I said, typically I will just go ahead and deliver 1 or 2 randomly here and there. I only typically, during a normal shipment cycle, I will only beam my 3 trade stations. So repeating the process here, this planet ends in a 4, so I will leave 4s. And then just the ones again that go to this ice hub. And you'll see why we leave those and how we get them later. So same process, it's just 3, so I will drop off all the 3s. And then there's no 1s here, so I can just move directly up. Here's where I would do a little mini sort. So the way I've been picking up shipments, obviously destination heading towards basically ascending. So 1s will be at the very top and 7s at the very bottom, and that's why the reason for that is because when I go to pick up, I have the top at the top, the highest at the top, and then the 1s at the lowest. And then for when I'm sorting this one, I usually flip it. Oops. Because I want to leave the 1s on this planet, so I want to make sure I pick up everything that's not a 1 first. For like this example, the lowest is a 2. I can now move it to this planet and then drop off everything for these, and now I can pick up everything that's up to not, or everything that's not a 1. And then because I reversed it, now the 1s are going to be at the top, so now I can just drop off all the 1s until it gets to a 2. So now I know that this transport doesn't have any 1s on it because they all were dropped off here. So we've effectively picked up every shipment now that we need to sort. I have 7 total hubs. This is my main one. This is for 2s. My first ice is for 1s. This is for 5s. This is for 6s. This is for 3s. This is for 4s, and this is for 7s. So in order, this is for 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, and 7s. So now you can see how I have 2 transports on the ends here. These are both my computer ones. And the reason why I leave them here at the end is because I want to make sure that they go to the far left of my like row of transports, because I want to make sure that there is no chance that they will have any shipments on them at the end of the sorting cycle, because these are going to be the ones that are going to be going across to each hub and picking up and dropping off to apply a computer. I want to make sure that every other shipment is where it needs to be and not sitting on this transport. So what we do is we start from the left and we upload what we can. And I'm going to flip this to make sure ones are at the top again, because I want to pick up the lowest numbers first, because I want the highest numbers to be on the planet first when or at least the most when I start to cycle, or pick up from the transports. So I'll try to explain it here best I can. So I've dropped off everything, and now I'm going to re-pick up. And I'm going to repeat this process. I'm going to drop off what I can and pick up. The reason why I'm doing this is because not every transport has, all the numbers. So what I'm effectively doing is dropping off as much as I can and then picking up the absolute lowest that's on that planet. And what this will mean is by the time I'm done here, I will have only the highest numbers first, and then I will systematically put these back onto the planet as more space is available once I pick up from with the transport. So again, I'm just dropping off as much as I can and then picking up a full cargo, dropping off what I can, and now I'm done. So you can see that I've basically shifted all of the shipments to the far right of all my transports. I could just drop off there 15, so I have 100 now. So now what I want to do is I want to pick up all the shipments, but I want to separate it by hub. So I'm going to flip it now to 7s to be at the top. And I will start from the far left now. And I will basically pick up every 7. And then the next shipment will pick up every 6s. And then the next one will pick up every 5s. And trade stations are always at the top because they start with a T. And then I will, now that we're done with trade stations, at least for right now, I will jump back to the first one. This was all my 7s. This was all my 6s. There's no 5s, so we're going to jump to 4s. And now my next number is 3, which would be this transport. Since it's obviously full, I have enough space where I can dump off everything. I could even go ahead and dump off more to get back to 100. And I'm going to repeat the process. So this was holding a 5. That's my highest, the top one right here. So that was holding a 5. This was holding 7s. Pick up all the 7s. This is going to be 6s again. This is 5s. And I'm just using the hotkey next selection, which is basically just the arrow here to go to switch. And then previous selection I've mapped to Z, so I can just use the keyboard and cycle through my transports. I'll be making a macro video here soon that kind of goes over a little bit of the key mappings. So again, this is 7, 6, 5, 4, picking up 4 there. And now I can pick up 3s because we dropped off all the shipments that were on this transport. So we'll go ahead and pick up the 3s. So we've got 47 left. Again, repeating the process, dropping off what I can to get back to 100, since we're filled up on the transports here. And repeat the process. So picking up all 6s. Picking up all the 5s, picking up all the 4s, and now we're back at 2, so there's no 3s, but what we can do is now, since this transport is empty, we can load up all our 1s, because we don't want, again, this planet is going to hold all 2s, so we want 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and 1 to be picked up. So again, we're going to pick up all the 1s. So now the only shipments that are on this planet are 2s. And again, we'll repeat the process, dropping off the rest of these. And repeat once more. Picking up 6s, 5s, 4s, 3s. And then switch it going all the way to the bottom. There was no 1s. And then 1 or 2 more times here, picking up the 4s, 3s, 1s, and then dropping off almost the rest here. Finishing up here. All the 1s are done. Okay, and there's nothing else but 2s. And the nice thing about having numbers in the name is obviously with it sorting, it should sort it numerically. Obviously trade stations will be first because they start with, they technically start with the letter T, and then you have all of the numbers here sorted, and since very top is 2 and very bottom is 2, that means that there's only 2s on this planet. So now you kind of see that we have shifted basically all of our shipments from everything to the far right. Now it's everything to the far left, but it's ordered per transport. And you can see if I cycle through, it's only holding 3 each. So, for example, this planet is holding, this is my 7 hub, so it will hold 3 locations. It'll hold this one because it starts with a 7, this trade station because it starts with a 7, and this one that starts with a 7. So if I click on my 7, you can see that it holds shipments for those 3 locations. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send each of these transports to those hubs. This being the 6 hub, this is the 5 hub, this is the 4 hub, this is the 3 hub, and then this is the 1 hub. So we would just count it down basically. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1. And now what we're left with is all the transports are bringing the shipments to those numbered hubs. We're left with an extra spare transport here. This is sometimes used, I would say maybe a third of the time. I might have a little left over. Like for example, there were 65 shipments that were going to locations that began with the 7. So I could pick up 60 with this transport, and I would have to use another transport that could carry those extra 5 7s and bring them down here. Like I said, I use it about a third of the time. Obviously, if you don't do your shipments in 12 hours and these fill up a little more, obviously that might cause a little bit of overfill too. But we didn't have any overfill this time, 60 tons being an amazing help there. So now what I'm going to do is, typically when I'm doing a shipment cycle here, I will use my 2 computer ones and pick up the 2s while these are moving. So I'll go ahead and do that. So basically I'm just doing a bunch of back and forth to give the transport time to, kind of stay in this area. And then I will tell it to pick up, this one is going to be 2 locations. And then this is also going to be 2 locations. You can see here, this ends in a 2. So it's got everything for 2. And those 2, as you can see here, is my ice here and all 3 locations for desert. I think it was like 90 something shipments that were on this planet, and that's why I usually will need to use all, that's why I'll need to use 2 transports, because obviously it can only hold 60 at most. So again, I got a macro that will just cancel all waypoints, so just cancel them all immediately. And again, I'll go over that in a future video. And now what I've done is basically, because I went back and forth a bunch of times and then waypointed to a location, you can tell that I didn't pick up those shipments manually. They were automatically picked up by a computer. And when they are automatically picked up by a computer, they will get a bonus. So now what I can do is I can drop off all the shipments. And you can see here that I've got 92 left. A nice, neat little trick that I've learned is if you sort by reward, so lowest value is at top. When you pick up, I'm going to pick up everything again, sorted by reward, and I'm going to now put them back down. This will actually trick the shipment drone in picking up the highest shipments first, because the shipment drone, when it goes to a planet to pick up a location, it will pick up the shipments that were first put onto the planet. It's first in, first out. So by us sorting by reward and using the lowest value at the top, it means that it will pick up the lowest first and the highest last. And then that way when we dump it off on the planet, it'll be highest is dumped off first and lowest last. This equates to roughly about 100k difference. I make roughly about 1.4 million per cycle, 100k difference, give or take. So you can do the percentage math there. So it can add up. Obviously, you'll see smaller differences the less you make. But it does make a difference. So that was something that I've learned that was really helpful. I did a test where I actually sorted it by reward with the highest at the top, and I could see a noticeable difference in my reward for that shipment cycle. And you'll see here, I have 8.9 million right here. I should be able to hit about 10.3, give or take, when I'm done. We'll see. We obviously applied computer there already, but if we were to drop off all the shipments, we can see how much the computer has added. So everything delivered, I've got 478,000 sitting on my planets. Again, that number, the baseline was a little lower since I just applied computer. So we'll get, those are the baseline numbers, 8.9, and we'll say 450k or whatever was the baseline. So now that I've applied the computer to my ice, I have to apply a computer to all the other locations now. So I've dropped off everything, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by destination, so that way the lowest is at top. And if you remember, we left all of the ones that go to this ice here. Because I knew I was returning to this plant, to these hubs to drop off the shipments, I can now go pick up those ones and bring them to the planet with that holds the ones. And I'm gonna do that for all locations. None there, and none there. So now if I want to confirm, I can just click on each planet and make sure that it's got 3 locations and the 3 right locations. Obviously I've had my system set up for a few years now, so I just know by heart, so I know what locations are what, so I can just cycle through and make sure that there are no stragglers that are sitting there for there's no stragglers on a planet that shouldn't be. So again, this planet should have 4 locations and this should have 4 locations. So as of right now, once these are brought over, every shipment is exactly where it needs to be. So at this point, I just now need to send my 2 transports out to apply boost. I have one transport that has burst boost ready and the other one that doesn't. So I will send off the one that doesn't have them ready to the left side of my system, and I'll say why here in a minute. I'm repeating the process. I'm bouncing back and forth to a close object, aka the warplane hub, and then I'm going to waypoint to 2 of the locations. I don't need to worry about the trade station right now because that will be automatically picked up from the other transport with burst boost, which, because it's an off lane, my drone won't deliver it. I need to send a transport to deliver it. So he picked up everything. I can cancel all waypoints and send back, and then I can start the process here where I will send him down here and do the same thing. And again, knowing what I need to do, this planet holds shipments for fire, planet, moon, and the starting sector, and then these two. So I will split this off into two passes. First pass will be these two, and then I will drop off all the ones that came from the hubs, and then I can pick up. So this planet's holding 70, my transport can only hold 60, so I just split it up into two runs. I will do the same thing here as I did on the other ice. I will sort by reward, lowest on top, pick up everything, drop off everything. Now, in the back end, the game is saying this has position 1, this is 2, 3, 4, and then the shipment drone will pick up based on first in, first out. And now I'm just going to repeat. Pick up those two locations. Again, that location, ignoring trade station because it's off lane. Cancel all waypoints. These shipments now have their computer bonus applied. I will repeat the process and go to the other two locations. Sometimes the waypoints like to cancel. I'll use a time modulator here just to speed it up a little bit. So macro to cancel all waypoints, which is helpful. And then again, just exactly the same. Drop off everything that I just picked up, and then I'm going to pick up everything and drop off. Based on reward, lowest on top. Do the same thing with this hub. This goes to this location. And then I will do the same here. Pick up 60. I got 10 left. I could probably leave it. Probably would be fine, but to be safe, I'll just pick up these 10 as well. Drop it off. And then I will go ahead and now move on to the next planet with this transport. And go to those two locations. Speed it up a little bit. Cancel the waypoints. We don't obviously want to deliver them. We are just using the waypoints back and forth as a means to cancel the trip so that they aren't delivered. Sort reward, pick up everything, drop off. Pick up everything, drop off. And now we're at our last hub. So again, I'll speed up here just to kind of save a little bit of time. And pick up, drop off. So don't have the computer applied to offlanes locations yet. So 3 trade stations and these two, but we can see that my baseline is now about 560k. It was like what, 480k when we started, but that was including the computer for this. So I mean, it's 30%, so it should be 30% whatever my baseline is for once I get it all applied to all shipments here. So now I am basically done. I have everything sorted based on the hub that it needs to be, and I have computer assigned to everything. I can now fire a drone. Now, it typically takes me anywhere from maybe 7 to 10 minutes to do an entire shipment cycle. When I'm not sitting here explaining it, I can just speed through it. And I typically only need one drone. It takes about 25 minutes for drone 12 to deliver everything by itself. I will drop a second one just because we are getting close. And now what I've done is I've got 2 drones now. They're going to pick up everything. We can even do a test here. If we were to keep it by reward, we obviously can see there's 14 here and 14 here. We can see that these will probably be all these gone. Let's see. He's going where? He's going to Hobbiton down here. So if I refresh this list, these should be gone, these high ones. So if I refresh, See, the highest ones were all gone for Hobbiton, and then all the low ones right here, Hobbiton. There was 3 left now. So again, 3 left, and they're the lowest values. So just goes to show that it you know, just trying to show here that the sorting by reward will force the drones to pick up the highest shipments for the location when it picks up. So like this has 5 left. This is Moria, and then I can see here that Moria is going to be all small ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they were all, you know, they're not up here. You can see here these are all the expensive ones, but you can see there's no Moria because the highest ones are already taken. So now that I got the 2 drones kind of going and handling all the on lanes, I need to do the off lanes. So I need to repeat the process now because I have not applied computer for the off lanes. I need to, just the way that my system is laid out, I need to go back and forth and pick up this one, but then cancel it because I need to go to this planet to pick up these. So I'm going to go back and forth here to pick up automatically and apply the bonus, and then I will cancel the waypoints, and then I will now waypoint to this planet and go here, and that's just to save a little bit of time. I could go ahead and deliver to the trade station and then go back to the planet and go down here, but I try to save a little bit of time since boost is only 10 minutes. I'm going to this planet first because it has less, and my threshold is 17 right now for burst. So I want to obviously go to the one that's lower. A burst will not apply reward until it is fully, like if the threshold is fully maxed. So let's say this planet had 18 and I needed 1 more. When I go ahead and drop off, you know, these 21, even though I just need 1 for the threshold, because I'm delivering all 21 at once, all 21 of those shipments would not get bonus applied. What I could do is, again, saying this had 18 or 16, 1 less than the threshold. So if this had 16 instead, and I needed 1 more to pass the threshold, a way around it would be I would go, drop off the shipments at this location for the trade station, go ahead and go here, pick up 1, go bring it here, deliver it. Now I have hit the threshold. I would then have to go back and pick up and then deliver the other 20 to now effectively get the burst a bonus. That's a way to min-max if you want. Just wanted to explain that trade burst will not apply its bonus to a delivery if it has not passed its threshold yet, and that goes for the entire delivery. Hopefully that makes sense. If someone else can explain it better in the comments, please do so. That's the best way I can explain it. So now I'm just going to have to go. I didn't want my transport to stop, but now I'm just going to make a path to deliver the rest of the 3 locations. So here's an off-lane planet and then the other 2 trade stations. So I've already done planet and trade station. I've got 5 total locations, so I've got 3 left. So I know I can waypoint. Because I'm waypointing here, I don't need to go back and forth because I can just hit the planet and go straight there, and because it's waypointed, it will automatically pick up the shipments. And I don't need to cancel my movement because I know that it needs to go there next. So I can just kind of waypoint all 3 together. So I'll speed up here. So you can see it picked up those 22 here there. So it looks like we've already made $1 million. So it went from 8.9, now we're at 10. we've got 124,000 base. So this base is not with the drone bonuses, obviously. So I will get more than 100K. And I got two trade stations right next to each other, so I bounced off of this planet and this planet combined because they're right next to each other. So I held all the shipments for both of these transports at the same time. Again, another bonus to having 60 tons. So, like I said, I figured we'd hit about 10.3. Looks like we're gonna break 10.4. So again, that was a rounded 1.4, 1.5 million per cycle. And that's coming off of, you know, like I said, baseline of estimated 450K credits baseline before computer was and drone bonuses. And now it's done. So almost hit 10.4, just shy of it. But we made almost like what, triple of what the baseline was, 450K to about 1.4. And that's the whole process. Sometimes I will leave the drones and let them deliver just another hour's worth if I'm not sure if I'll, you know, be here to exactly do the next cycle in 12 hours. Otherwise you can always just disband them, and you'll know they're done because they have the red circle and they're obviously not moving, so I can just disband. And there you go, that's all my shipments done. Like I said, normal processing time, when I'm just kind of zipping through it, it's about 7 or 8 minutes. I'll show a clip here of a recording where I'm just doing the shipments at my own speed. I'll commentate what I can, but I'll just zip through it to show you, you know, the first part of this video, you saw the breakdown. And then we'll have like a little clip at the end that will show you like an at speed shipment cycle. Like I said, they take about, give or take, you know, 8 minutes. So they're much quicker. Obviously, this is just slower to break down to explain step by step. But this process really works well for me. 8 minutes twice a day, you know, 15 minutes or so to do shipments, and I take home 2.8 million. Pretty good. And then obviously you add another 370K for Blue Star and 400K for Red Star 11 Credit Asteroid. You know, that's almost another 800K, which means I take home about 3.6 million a day. And that's not including salvaging, extra arts, research, all that. So when you get high up, it sounds like I make a ton of credits, but in reality, it's all relative. For example, got to upgrade a planet here, and it's 10 million. So, that's 10 million. So it took me what, 2.5-3 days to get that. I don't know if that's relative to lower levels, if it takes 2 to 3 days to get each planet upgrade, but that's assuming I don't lose any ships in Red Star, or how many runs obviously it takes to win a Blue Star, which usually pretty good rates. So it sounds like 4 million a day is a ton, but I mean, we're talking 10 million a planet, and then the next upgrade is 10.5. So planets are super expensive too. Plus, obviously, module levels, once you get high end, they're, you know, 8, 10, 12 million a piece as well. So it's all relative. Hopefully this video helped you, kind of gave you a guideline, or helped you change your strategy to make it a little bit more efficient. I'll go ahead and throw up another clip of doing a full cycle at like my own regular speed. Alright, here's that clip where I'm just going to run my shipments through at regular speed. I got my my transports already stationed here in position, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. So same thing that I showed before. Again, this time I'm not really going to care about what I deliver, just because it's it's a little bit quicker to do it without, you know, sitting there and having to siphon it out and then beam it later. So I got my 3 transports that I always go to my first ice, and then I just beam those transports up, or beam the shipments to those transports. This is 4. Again, this is just cycling through the locations, picking up everything, and then dropping off either one Venus, either where it goes to the second ice, or if it is on the hub, like the 6s, since it's the hub for 6. And then this, I would pick up everything and then drop back off anything that is a 5. And then I'm going to reverse the order again and grab those. Another thing you'll notice, I have a Z in front of Isengard, and that's actually to make sure that when I do sort, the Z actually comes after Venus, because if I did an I, it would switch over. It would go first, I believe. Let's do a real quick test. Yeah, see how Isengard is now at the top? I want to make sure Venus is at the top because it's easier to find them in the list. So that's why this one I threw a Z up in the front. And I do a Z on this one as well, since it's also a 1, just to make sure that they go with they come after the Venus Morgul. So see, boom, there's all of them. Okay, again, dropping off everything, picking up anything that's not a 1, moving them there, use time out a little bit. Now I can send my computers there, so to the far right. And now we're just going to repeat the process of we're dropping it off and then picking it back up in kind of order here. And now we're just picking up again each number for transport. Looks like my 7 just maxed out, so we may have to use that spare transport like I mentioned earlier. Maybe. So not doing the 1s, of course. Don't need the 2s. 2s stay on this planet. Looks like we're safe. We don't have any more 7s left. There's my 3s left over. So now I'll go to that extra transport and just load 3s. Sometimes if I'm over on like 2 numbers, like a 3 and a 1 or whatever, typically I'll put them both on that extra transport and then just move that transport twice. Drop it off at one location and then move it to another location. Now we're go ahead and applying computer now. I'll get these guys back to ice so I can get them to where they should be. Sorting by reward now, picking up and immediately dropping off in reverse order. Burst boost, since this one was used, this goes to the right, or excuse me, left of the system, and then this one can go down here. And remember, I use the transport that actually has the modules available on the left side of the system, because I usually start my off lanes to this trade station in this planet, and then I kind of go to towards the left of this planet, and then these two trade stations. Oops. Ooh, look at that, 80 out of 40, perfectly. Nice. That one overfills a lot just because it's got 4 locations. Since the 2 ice has 4 locations, but the top ice has 50 out of 50 shipments, and this one only has 40. This one does tend to overflow quite a bit. Okay, again, I'll need 2 here since there's 80. Oh, I messed that one up. I didn't apply the, I didn't sort. There we go. And drones away. I should only use, I only need to use 1 drone for here, for this round. Since I have 30 minutes left, should be plenty of time for the drone to finish here. And then now I'll get my off lanes going here. This one has less than this planet, so I will go to the transport for, to the trade station first. And then just waypoint everything else. And now effectively I am done. So we'll sit here and just, I mean, I can always fire off a second one just to make this a little quicker. But I mean, we are now 10 minutes in. Just under 10 minutes or so, give or take. Not too bad. Obviously wasted a little bit of time with the planet names, but some days are a little faster. Depends just on, I don't know, just depends on the how fast I can click and stuff, I suppose. But I think 10 minutes for an entire shipment cycle is pretty good, especially since we'll take home on, you know, about 1.4 million, so 10 minutes for that, I think that's pretty worth it. And then I'll just move all my transports to my Red Star scanner so they're ready to run a Red Star later. Typically when I do my overnight shipments, I will position my transports on the planets again. That way when I wake up, I can pretty much go ahead and do the shipments right away. Or, you know, wait a couple hours or whatever. But then during the day, when I'm done with shipments, I'll usually move them down to my starting sector, you know, where my stations are at, so I can either do trading or Red Star or whatever. Let's see here, 17 minutes left, but it looks like we're pretty much almost done here with the shipments. Can't necessarily can't necessarily tell what we made since this is still from yesterday's shipment. And I think I did a blue star last night. Maybe not. Oh, I think I did it just before my credit. Okay, we're done. So all in all, with 2 drones firing off, that took us 12 minutes. Sitting here and actually watching the shipment drones, typically I don't. Once I fire off 1 drone, I will just let it run, and I will usually just completely forget about it, and if it delivers the next hours, I don't necessarily care. So there you go. This is, you know, just another example of, you know, this is kind of more of a example of the system that I use to do my shipments and how fast it can be. Like I said, typically it can be a little faster, a little slower, whatever, but regardless, I think it's one of the faster runs that you can do, aside from obviously just offloading everything to a trade station or just running relay 24/7. But thanks for watching. If you got any other ideas for, you know, shipment ideas or Red Star ideas, Blue Star experiments, module layouts, I'm happy to do some testing. You know, we can have some fun with it. Just, you know, leave your ideas down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.